What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back again with another The Family Chantel video. But before we get into it, let's start off by giving a big massive shout out to every single person that is a member of the channel and every single person that is a member of Patreon, where you can find all of our unrestricted content, and the link for that is down below in the description. Now, with that being said, in the most recent episode of The Family Chantel, there was a scene where, well, let me play it and then I'll break it down.
I want you guys to remember, don't neglect quality time. Quality time together.
Okay, I hear you.
Let me spell it out. I mean quality time. You guys have to give me some nietos.
It's none of your business.
What? Do you know who you're talking to?
It's none of your business what I'm doing in quality time with Pedro. It's not her place to know.
Why?
Because this is private.
I show you what me and Daddy do in our private time.
See it.
You want to see it?
No,
It's right
I don't
down here.
wanna
I got
see
it on my phone.
It's hard to talk about baby stuff with my mom because I'm not where I expected to be at my age. Pedro and I are mentally not in a loving state. We're not even physically in a capable state of making a baby. Like, we need to start the fire back in the relationship before we can even make a baby. There's no possibility of a baby yet.
You see, my biggest issue with this scene is that, well, is it not a mother's responsibility, especially when it comes to a mother to a daughter, to identify when your daughter is not in the best of places, to identify when her headspace isn't exactly where it needs to be? And the reason why I say this, you see, because one thing that I believe that has parents, I said as if I'm a parent, but I'm not, but one thing that I do believe for anyone who is a parent is making sure that your children don't get themselves in a situation where they're having a kid with someone that doesn't necessarily make them completely happy. And also not having a kid with someone that maybe comes with a family, with some sort of toxic energy from whether it's their family or other people that they have to keep in their life or they will never get rid in their life. So to be honest with you, I feel like the conversation right here shouldn't be, oh, so when are you going to give me grandkids? In fact, even the moment that she said that, just the way Chantel reacted, the mother should have been like, okay, I'm picking up something not good here. Tell me why you don't want to have this conversation. Tell me why all of a sudden we're downplaying, because normally I can have a conversation with you about children and you know what you want to say. This is the point where the mother is supposed to be a mum. She's supposed to be a mother and meant to ask her, what is the issue? And to be honest with you, we know what the issue is. The issue is that Pedro has not been active for, well, in this episode, he says 3 months to be exact. And the fact that he has not been active for 3 months with his own woman, that can raise massive red flags and massive assumptions of why that is happening. But the matter of fact is, one thing that we can say for sure is that it shows that he is not happy and their relationship is not in a good place. So why the mum is trying to indicate for her daughter to have a child when her daughter isn't even in a happy place with this man is bizarre to me. Because it's as if she's opening her daughter up into a world where she's more likely to end up becoming a single mother. And possibly even in a situation where she's going to be a single mother with a toxic partner. Because at the end of the day, we all know about how Pedro's family feels about Chantel. We all know how they feel about Chantel's family as a whole. So to be honest, if they had a kid and then they broke up, we can only imagine how toxic that would be, how challenging that would be, and most importantly, how that would affect the child in particular. So I make this video here to give advice to any one of you here that if you notice that you've got a child, whether it's a boy or girl, or non-binary X, Y, Z, please make sure that you give them as many precautions as possible about having children, being careful about who they're having children, because there are so many people in this world that have children and end up being single parents. There are so many people in this world that have children and then end up bringing their child into toxic environments. Whether or not it's their fault or not, they still brought them into a toxic environment, whether it be them being toxic or be a part of them being toxic or being their partner's family being toxic. At the end of the day, one of the worst things that Pedro and Chantel could ever do is actually have a child anytime soon. Based on because Pedro hasn't shown that he's still in love with her, he still treats her like absolute garbage. We've seen the way he talks to her. And also at the same time, because Pedro's family are still on, well, Pedro's family and Chantel's family don't like each other. All of these components matter. They all add up, okay? All add up. And also, let's just go into the scene later on in this episode, to be fair. I've just thought about this, but hold on a second. Let's get it up.
Making you your 6 eggs Scrambled.
I don't like scrambled egg. I like boiled eggs.
Since when don't you like scrambled eggs with cheese?
I don't like scrambled with cheese. I like boiled egg. You can boil it.
Scrambled.
Boil it.
They're already like.
Okay.
You don't want these eggs?
I don't like. Just boil it.
Okay, I'll get you boiled eggs.
Thanks.
What time do you work?
45 minutes. I have to go.
So, have you noticed anything?
Later to make egg in the morning.
Yeah. And it's a lot cleaner, huh? Your jacket is in one place with your laptop and some more of your items. So you can grab them and go.
Yeah. I've been very repetitive at the time with Chantel. Like, I'm not the only person that can clean, can organize. You do that one thing 3 or 2 times. That means you do every day. No. Nothing get done until I tell her to do it. I don't need a maid. I need a partner.
So.
You put salt?
I did.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because I don't know how you put salt there.
Yeah, I did.
Put salt there because you don't put it.
I did put it there. If you want more salt, you can put more salt yourself. But I did put salt there.
Woman, put salt in the water. In the thing.
Pedro, since when do you talk to me like that?
Woman, put salt in the thing. Come on, go ahead.
You think this is funny?
It's not funny. We want to do whatever effort.
Didn't you just say, oh, Pinky, that's sweet that you tried to make me some scrambled eggs in the morning?
But
Thank you for your effort. Because guess what? I'm trying to speak your love language, okay?
Where's my Lord?
I'm not trying to be your servant. Pedro, you are so ungrateful.
I'm not grateful.
Yeah, you don't know how to say thank you.
Even this scene itself in particular exposes their relationship, exposes how toxic they are, exposes why having a child shouldn't even be an idea. And this is why I say that in the scene beforehand, Chantel's mother should have identified that her daughter isn't necessarily happy to have a child right now. In fact, it's a good thing that Chantel isn't happy to have a child right now, because it'd be a damn shame if Chantel had this mentality that a lot of women have that, hey, if we have a kid, then maybe things will improve. Hey, if we have a kid, maybe he's going to want me more. Hey, if we have a kid, maybe he's going to give me more attention, which we know that is never necessarily the scenario. And to be honest with you, it's never a situation that anyone should ever get into anyway, because you're literally playing with a child's life by using them as a pawn in your game to get your partner's attention. So I'm happy that she doesn't have that mentality, but again, her mother should have identified something's off and then had an actual conversation about why she's hesitant about having children right now and why she's hesitant to even have a conversation about even the bedroom situation. And that's where Chantel could have potentially chosen to either explain to her mum or said, I don't want to talk about it right now, maybe another time. But instead, the mum was trying to push her more into like, well, we're going to talk about it and, well, I want grandkids. When in reality, it's nothing to do with got grandkids. It's the matter of the fact is your daughter and her partner have to be in a very good position for it to happen anyway. And of course, as we saw there, the way Pedro spoke to Chantel was disgusting and rude. Now, also at the same time, you know, and because of that, you got to think, if they had a daughter, would you want your niece or your grandchild? Wait, if your no, that makes sense. Wait, if you've got a yes, would you want your granddaughter? That's the one, yeah. Would you want your granddaughter to grow up in an environment where daddy is not talking to mommy with respect, where she's learning these bad habits of how to be, you know, of how a man should speak to you? Because let's not forget, there's a lot of ladies out here who grow up in environments where they're used to seeing their daddy speaking to their mom in a certain type of way, and then they end up getting a relationship with someone who's similar to their daddy, even though their daddy was someone that was a complete douche, because he spoke to their mum like, But the problem is that it becomes normalized into people's minds. So there's so many fundamentals that people have to look into when it comes to having children. And I don't like the fact that the mother decided to neglect that in terms of the conversation that she had with Chantel. And again, that scene itself in particular shows you just a glimpse. And to be honest with you, that scene itself wasn't even that bad compared to what many children and many of us have been through based on what we have witnessed in front of our eyes with our parents, or maybe even our friends' parents, or anyone else, if you know what I mean. So, end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, Chantel's mother needs to do better by reading the situation and having an actual conversation. But again, very, very lucky that Chantel isn't in that mind frame to have a child for the sake of having a child. I respect the fact that she was like, this ain't the time. But nonetheless, though, let me know what you're thinking in the comment section. We'll talk about it. Like, subscribe, and peace.